panels of the.
This is the anal.
Welcome to the greatest radio show that no one has ever heard of. Coming to you direct from 816 South Broadway in downtown Los Angeles. Brought to you by 3 drunk idiots and a guy who can't walk. You are now listening to Superior Fandom!
Alright. This probably isn't the best idea, guys, but we're going to do a third segment tonight. Again, we're SuperiorFandom.com. This is the Nate and Joe Show. I'm Nate Joiners, my partner Joe Holt.
This is a bad idea.
The
third one is always the one where everything goes wrong.
I convinced you.
Nah, just kidding.
Third time's a charm, right?
Third time's a charm.
Yeah.
Brian Murphy is still with us. Say hey, Brian.
Kinda.
So is Brian Castles.
Yeah, Mr. Castles. I owe you a shot. I knew you were listening. I love you, brother. We're gonna. By the way, guys, my cans aren't up.
Yeah, mine either.
Regardless, we're going to talk about basketball because there were some amazing games that happened today.
There was 3 games that we were watching, Nate. As, you know, things happened. We had 3 screens in front of us. We had BC, Syracuse. We had your Gators playing Auburn.
Yeah.
What was that tertiary game?
Tertiary.
Who gives a flippin'?
That's a big
Anyway.
word.
That's a big word.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Joe, what's up, brother?
I was just going to say, I don't know how we're not leading with the fact that Jason Terry got traded to the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah,
Well, you know, we were talking college basketball. All right, so we'll segue into the big ball. But anyways, I want to give big props to BC fucking taking down
it's down
those gosh darn Orange men. Bye-bye. No more number 1.
It was what Murph is referring to is earlier. He and I were sitting at the bar at 501 South Spring at the Down and Out in downtown LA. We had 3 phenomenal basketball games on. I really can't remember the game in the middle.
One was
I think it was George Mason maybe and.
Oh yeah, George Mason, St. Louis.
Yes, George Mason, St. Louis.
St. Louis won in overtime by 4.
Yes.
For their 18th consecutive win of the year. St. Louis.
How do you know that?
One
It
of the
funnels
most
me.
underrated teams in the NCAA.
I agree.
Jim Cruz, probably coach of the year. Just saying.
Anyways.
Do you think he has the Butler way?
Yeah.
Do you think he has the Butler way?
He was the
Butler way is a disaster.
Jim Cruz is a disciple of Rick Majerus, who unfortunately passed away due to, I believe it was cancer. Hopefully I don't misspeak here. The season before last, he took over the team. Last year in his first full season, the Pelicans made it to the Sweet 16 and were a top 15 ranked team in the country. And won the A-10, and they might have only lost 1 or 2 games that whole season in league play.
Did they get beaten by the Gators?
No, I don't think so.
No. Well,
why I say that is because I think my friend here to my right wants to talk about his Gators.
He can talk about it.
Well, I will say this.
He's really excited.
The game, we've been holding that number 2 spot for a week and a half or so. Tonight's game was terrifying. We almost got beat by the Auburn War Eagle, Tiger, Plainsman.
I'm not sure.
Auburn Tigers.
No, they have an identity crisis, Joe. They have 3 different mascots.
Doesn't Long Beach State have that also?
If they do, they shouldn't, and they should. They should.
Yeah, I agree. Although
fall
I
into a
will say
sinkhole
this.
because.
But anyways, Nate's team won. Nate's team won.
Hold on. The game was incredible.
It was a
but
great
on
game.
The opposite side of it, we had number 2 on one side, number 1 on the other side. Syracuse, that game was incredible too. Syracuse at their home court
Lost.
Boston College handled Syracuse, and it was in overtime. Syracuse's first loss of the year, which could potentially propel the Gators up into the number one spot.
And you won $5 off that bet, didn't you? You won $5.
Maybe a little more, but yeah.
No, you won $5 handily.
I'll say $5. Yes.
I don't know if I would say that Boston College handled Syracuse. Syracuse has been rocky the last week or 2 weeks in the season.
Do you think they beat Duke tomorrow Saturday night?
I think they cover. I don't know if they win.
The reason I use
they're favored by 3 on that. Yeah.
The reason I use the word handle, Joe. The reason I use the word handle.
BC beat the number one team.
No, not even that. Not even the fact that they beat them. Is the way that they beat them. They held Syracuse to under 60 points, for God's sakes.
That was stupid score.
Through 2 quarters. On their home court, which is pretty impressive. That's incredible. And Syracuse is a potent offense. Like, they can at any time go on a 12-0 run and just throw up mad points on you. Boston College kind of handled them. And they're Boston College isn't the offensive juggernaut that is going to blow a team out, especially on their home court. But whenever they go into someone's house and do what they did, especially to the number one team in the country, that's pretty impressive.
Can I ask a question? So if BC shows up in the tournament,
they're not.
You don't think they're even tournament?
No chance in hell.
After beating number one?
No, they're not. They've lost too many games. Really? They're under 500. That's a huge win for them. That's it. They're going to go and they're going to pat each other on the back and be like, "That was awesome." If it was on their home court, they would have flooded the court.
Because I'm not a very, very studious person of college basketball, much like yourselves. And so
BC's not going to. They're nowhere in the tournament.
Even if they win the next 5, next 6.
That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Joe's right.
I'm just talking me down to reality. That's
no.
If you want to get behind a team in your local area that could potentially make a dent in the bracket, UMass. Chaz Williams could fucking ball. Chaz Williams is going to be like a late first round.
Think he's gonna leave school?
Draft pick when he comes out. I think.
I was gonna say, what year is he? He's a senior, is he? Okay, yeah.
He's on his way now. And I think somebody like Greg Popovich will get behind him and turn that kid into one hell of a professional athlete.
Well, the fact I'm going to kind of shift gears. You brought up Pop. I think this is the Spurs' grand hurrah in the NBA. As far as the core, this core of the Spurs is about to fall apart. So they're going to have to start rebuilding in that team.
Yeah, Tony Parker, Pop just kind of like casually announced this yesterday, but Tony Parker's out indefinitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's probably just a ploy to get some rest, and like, you know that we've discussed like the flaws in the NBA scheduling patterns, and you know some of that stuff. And I think that Tony Parker being out is more or less a product of that. But I mean, yeah, they're getting to the end of it.
I think it's the end of their run has been historic. It's been phenomenal.
Although I will tell you this. Blake Griffin's been playing like a beast all season, and Tim Duncan put a nice little whooping on Blake and the Clippers yesterday.
Mr. Fundamentals,
which is something they have not been able to do this year. The Spurs can't. They haven't been able to beat anybody of substance. Like they've been destroying all the minor league teams.
Where's their schedule setting them up? Do they have to play the West?
And everybody in the West who is worth a shit has pretty much rolled over the Spurs. But
how many games left do they have versus the West? I mean, we're talking about like we're almost
a lot. The second half just started.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's when you break down the schedule and you say I have East Coast teams, West Coast teams, you know, and so it's all about travel now, you know, and that kind of thing, and trade deadline. Let's talk about the trade deadline, Nate. What do you think's going to happen?
Trade deadline's coming up. When is the trade deadline?
It's Thursday.
Look that up for me.
Thursday.
Is it Thursday?
No, it's tomorrow. Yeah,
No,
it's Thursday. Okay, tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's tomorrow morning.
Well,
All right, let's talk about potential big moves.
Speaking of
Do you
trades,
think?
let's talk a little move that might be near and dear to you Boston fuck. Jason Terry got traded to the Sacramento Kings
which we
today
touched on a little bit
for
ago.
Marcus Thornton. And Reggie Evans from Brooklyn is also in that deal. And I don't know what it does, but I just look for any excuse I possibly can to talk about the Sacramento Kings. And that's what I got right now.
Sacktown.
The Sleep Train Arena is the Sleep Train Arena named for a reason. So you go there and you go.
That's kind of funny.
Do you want to know a funny story about that? So,
Do they have any banners? You know what a banner is, right, Joe?
no, they don't have
The banner
Oh,
is that
jeez.
fucking thing you hang from the fucking ceiling.
No, they don't have one.
They
of
don't
those.
have any banners. They have. They're beds.
Murphy's gonna snore into a microphone for the next 20 minutes, y'all. This is gonna be phenomenal.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Because I'm working for Sleep Train Arena.
Okay.
Anyways, so anyways, I got the mic. All right, next.
There was a big Lakers trade. The
Steve Blake.
Yeah, Steve Blake's gone.
Steve Blake for 2 bums.
Yep, two
Yeah.
bums.
2 bums that weren't even playing the entire year. You see this one, Joe?
It just
You
came
get it out
Just
for
happened.
us.
Yeah.
It was basically they traded Steve Blake for basically like their 14th and their 15th man like on the team, like 2 guys that were just squatting.
What team?
Steve
They're
Blake.
going to the Warriors,
Right here.
Oh,
Save
giving a little depth, giving a little
Who'd
depth
they
to
get
him.
rid of? Like Tony Douglas and
Kent
Bazemore?
Bat,
Yeah.
Bazemore, and Marshawn Brooks.
Oh, that's fucking great trade.
It was
So they're-
trading for who, what, and nobody cares.
Two for one. I'll take a fork in my life for a spoon.
Actually, real quick, the Western Conference playoffs, like 1 through 7, are gonna be so interesting and fun to watch. I don't know if I've ever seen a Western Conference playoffs where everybody was so tightly matched ever. Like, have you?
It's
Like your first girlfriend's panties?
Yeah.
it's
like
pretty it's pretty incredible. Like anybody. Not quite sure what that meant,
But I like it.
but it was fun. Yeah. It's pretty impressive. But then you have, but then when you take teams. The Clippers, in my opinion, can beat anybody at any time, but they can also lose to anybody at any time.
Yeah.
Like they're the most
like
inconsistent team.
literally
Anybody. Like they're the most inconsistent team on the planet. When you look at them on paper, they should be rolling. Everybody who they should be rolling, they should be beating the shit out of them.
And
But it's
also,
never a given.
Clippers fans are full of shit.
Yeah, I
Just
agree with
like, that's all I have to say about that.
Not all of them. I've met and know a handful of them that are pretty passionate and they love their Clips. But you're right. The majority of
Takes a
them
lot. Takes a lot to be a Clipper fan.
Yeah, like Marco. Shout out Lloyd Bach, dude. We're all in, dude. Ron
it takes a
Harper,
lot to be a
we
Clipper
get it
fan.
over.
Ron Harper.
And Jeff Berman, apparently, if you're still listening, I hear you're listening to the show as well. Apparently, I owe you a shot of tequila as well. So.
And I'll give you a bowl of weed. Okay, all right.
Well, there
Hey,
you go.
can we say that on these
I think we
airways?
can because
We're
it's
not on
free.
any airwaves. We're on our own airwaves.
We're on the internet.
We're in the interwide web.
Who gives a flippin' flop?
Actually, yeah, a couple quick shout-outs. Brian Castles again.
Yeah, that's my
And
boy.
Matt Long.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Who else we got?
Oh God, what do we got? I don't think. You know,
Where do we find that?
Doesn't really matter.
I don't even know where to look.
Wednesday nights from maybe 8 on.
Tell
Find
you
us
what.
here.
I'm gonna finish on this. This is gonna be a short segment.
Nice pick
Hold
up.
on.
The tournament.
We're picking up the spilled beer.
The tournament of
I'll
all
consider it.
tournaments, except in my opinion, for the World Cup, and I've said this before, the World Cup and the NCAA March Madness tournament are the 2 best tournaments on the planet. I love them both. They're phenomenal. Hold on, Joe.
1 second.
The World Series. Can I get a little shout out for the World Series?
It's not what I'm talking about, though.
I played in a really bitchin' air hockey tournament like 2.5 years ago, and I just want to give a shout out to everybody that participated.
I know you shake a lot. So
I think I got about 5th out of
good work.
12.
I like that.
Not very well, but
5th out of 4.
Anyways, the dance is around the corner. March is almost upon us.
The dance. Who you taking, Nate?
Who am I taking? Well, at this point, yes. I made a bet earlier in the year with a couple of friends of mine where we all picked our teams.
You don't have any friends.
You have a point there. They're my hypothetical friends. But I picked Arizona at the beginning of the season to win it all. I wish at this point I had taken my Gators. Although, actually, I'm glad I didn't take my Gators because the Gators... What's happening right now?
Sorry. I'm a dick. Sorry.
I don't want to jinx the Gators. The Gators are on a 18-game win streak, the longest win streak in their history of the school. Billy Donovan he's tied for 4th most all-time NCAA history as far as most consecutive 20-plus wins.
That's a crazy streak, by the way.
That's insane. It's insane.
Nate, can you reiterate what that is real quick? What is that consecutive 20-game win streak? Like, how many years is that?
He has been our coach for 18 seasons. For 16 straight, he has won 20-plus games.
That means 2/3 of the time. That means 2/3 of the time they've won their games under Billy Donovan.
It's out of control.
That's ridiculous stat.
The program that is the Florida Gators is all 100% because of what Billy Donovan's done to it.
The other thing too that I think needs to be said is they've also cultivated some tremendous professional athletes.
Absolutely.
That have gone on to
be killers
win championships.
Well, that's what he does.
No, not the basketball team. That's the thing. And the other thing, you never hear any bullshit about the guys that played basketball at the University of Florida.
Mm-hmm. Because you have Billy Donovan, who literally doesn't care how good you are. If you fuck up, you're like he will sit. Scotty Wilbekin are arguably I think he's one of the top 5 point guards in the NCAA as far as his numbers go. And hell, I wouldn't want anybody else leading my team right now. But thank you, Murph. Thanks, Murph, for that. But Scotty Wilbekin's been suspended by Billy Donovan 3 different times. This last time this year. Stop! Jesus Christ. We've got a drunk Murphy on our hands to my left, and he's
interfering with your
driving me crazy.
Interfering with the manhood.
Scotty Wilbekin almost didn't play this year, and without Scotty, we wouldn't have. I mean, we might have won the 14 or 15 games at this point. And he's okay. Let's wrap. We're gonna wrap this up. We're done. We're done.
Shut it down.
We're done. Thank you guys. SuperiorFandom.com. Thanks for listening tonight. Jesus Christ.
Chapman, Cino.
Chapman, Cino.
I love the fucking game. Damn, you have to persevere.
Yeah, stop. Fuck.